So, what is it that makes an interview really go well? And how do we help our clients do that well and use the tools that will help them do that well and avoid some of the tools that get in the way? We get so focused on what do you say and what are your stories and all of that, which is important. Obviously, we have to know our stuff and we have to have engaging stories. But when it comes right down to it, what really matters is the delivery. Let's talk about this connection piece. There's a few aspects to it. One is feeling like you're in presence with that person, which of course is really hard in video. But we know that having presence is a lot about thinking about where your energy is. And so when I even am on video with you all, I'm trying to imagine my energy being with you and putting my energy towards you. The second part to the connection is that one, you're kind of other focused, but two, that you've got some authenticity. Like it's okay to make a few mistakes. It's okay to say and ah every once in a while. We don't need to try to edit all of that out, to pause, to look, even to look down when I'm interviewing, that I might have some notes and I might tell people I've got a few notes. So if I glance down, that's what I'm doing. All of that makes you feel more human, which is the whole purpose of the connection. But the second piece of it is what they call mirroring. And so mirroring means that if the person on the other side of the table from me is louder, faster, then I'm going to try to be a little louder or faster too. Now, this is where people go, oh, Marie, but you were just talking about authenticity. But the two aren't opposed, because I'm not going to be inauthentic. I'm just going to adjust slightly. And this is actually very natural. I do not have to try really hard to do this. The only thing I have to do is remember to be other centered, to pay attention to the other person. How are they talking? What is their style? And I will somewhat naturally adapt to that. There's a cute video that goes around where the girl is watching a movie, right? And she gets sad when the movie's sad and she gets happy when the movie's happy. We all do that naturally. The problem in an interview is that typically we're so focused on ourselves because we're nervous and we're anxious that we forget to pay attention to the other person. And so we're not letting that natural mirroring happen for ourselves. Now, what I find helpful when I get nervous or kind of as an introvert is that when I think about the other person and I focus on the other person, the focus feels like it's less on me, right? I feel less in the spotlight because I'm focused on that other person and thinking about how I might direct my energy towards them. Now, there are some great tools that can help people with practicing for this. So Udly, Speako, we've got a whole list of them, but there's all these systems that will help people practice, but give them this feedback around their eye contact, around their speed. And you want to take those things, and that's why a coach works alongside of these tools, because it isn't necessarily, oh, you're really fast. It's, your pace is high. So we want to think about that when you're talking to other people and thinking about their pace and are you matching it? Because talking fast isn't hugely a big deal if you're talking to other people who talk fast, right? The other piece of it about the ways that you can use ChatGPT and Perplexity to do research ahead of time. And so this is the last secret that I would say, is that in the interview and where you're asking them what is their pain point, what are they really needing someone to solve? It's a beautifully powerful question to ask. I also want to ask that before the interview even happens, using AI, using my network, etc., so that when I get into that interview, I'm not just telling stories that match up to the job description. I'm telling stories that actually speak to the current pains and trends and things that are going on in the industry, in the company. And that's going to make it like this, whoa, you're reading my mind kind of feel. And that's what we want people to have. But you've practiced it ahead of time, you prepared it so that when you get there, it's not memorized. I like to call it internalized. Like, those stories so well that you can adapt them, you can change them, you can use different language. You're telling the story that you internalized and you've aligned those stories to not just the job description, but you've really done your research into the pains, the, nightmares, whatever it might be, of the hiring managers, so that your stories ring that intangible, oh yeah, kind of bell, in addition to showing the qualifications, because everyone who's interviewing has shown the qualifications. They wouldn't be there. So how are you going to stand out? One, it's that connection. And two, it's that you've gone beyond and you've really thought about how you can solve their problems and be there to solve that pain, in addition to meeting the qualifications. And like I said, it's powerful to ask the question, but I want our interviewees to have prepared even ahead of time to be able to tell the stories that ring that, oh yeah, we really need to solve that problem kind of bell. One other tip here, if you're working with your interviewees, and I know we've got interviewees who, neurodiverse or shy or introverted, whatever, I think a lot of us have those challenges. I love actually the not having to look at myself. So on Zoom, and I'm sure some of you have figured this out, but on Zoom, you can either turn off your own video or you can move things around so that your video is very small. That I don't have to watch myself, which I find distracting. Even when I'm doing these videos, I stay pretty focused on the camera so that I don't have to look at myself, but then I can stay focused on the camera. Another thing that I love is putting some kind of sticky note or picture, or used to have this little eye thing on my camera that reminded me to look in your eyes, right? Because all of you are on the other side and I'm looking into your eyes as much as I can on video. So do what you need to do to show up the best that you can on video. So I hope those tips are helpful for your clients. I just wanted to show you two upcoming things that are happening. I'd love to answer any questions that people have on these. So the first is our new micro-credential on powering up your career practice with AI. We've created these micro credentials because people said they wanted to do little bites and figuring out which bites they want to take. AI use in career coaching, so career exploration, we're not just doing generative AI, we're going to look at AI assessments, AI tools beyond that in each of these sections, as well as generative AI. And then you've got AI in resume and profile creation. I specifically did not call this writing because yes, it can write, but there's so much other ways to use these tools in AI and resumes that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with having it right. Then we've got job search coaching and interview coaching. And then the other thing that we have coming up here, for those of you that are interested, is our interview coaching class. How to prepare and show up and be in the moment is another piece of it. Diversity issues, bias issues, and just dealing with companies that may not be ready for the interview process. Compensation negotiation. We're not talking just salary because there's so much more to it than that. And I look forward to hearing from you. What do you find helpful for clients who are trying to have great presence in interviews? We will see you next Tuesday for our Trend Tuesday. Thank you, everyone. Have a great week. The